and wish her every blessing on her future. I personally am grateful to her for her. She abruptly resigned as the host of the show. And to say that I'm quite sad about it.
The news dropped like a thunderclap. Molly Qerim, the face and voice of ESPN's First Take for a decade, abruptly announced she was stepping down, and not just for a break or a transition. She was gone, effective immediately. What began as a seemingly polite farewell on Instagram spiraled within hours into one of the most talked-about exits in sports media history. For fans who'd spent years waking up to her composed presence beside Stephen A. Smith's fiery monologues, the announcement felt less like a career move and more like an emotional bombshell. Something about her carefully written post didn't sit right. The words were kind, grateful, and measured, but underneath the grace, there was a sharp undertone of finality, as if she was closing a chapter she didn't fully choose to end. Moments later, Stephen A. Smith, the man known for never breaking character, appeared on camera and, for the first time in years, looked visibly shaken. His tribute to Molly was heartfelt, praising her grace, professionalism, and impact on First Take. But even as he spoke, his tone wavered. He said he was caught off guard, that he didn't see it coming. It was strange, because this wasn't just a normal goodbye. The emotion in his voice, the way he hesitated between sentences, told a different story. Something deeper was unfolding behind the scenes, and the world could feel it. Hours before Molly's post even went live, Sports Business Journal had already broken the story. Molly Qerim was leaving First Take by the end of 2025. Yet by the time her own announcement hit Instagram, she was gone. No countdown, no farewell episode, no on-air tribute. The woman who had commanded the ESPN morning desk for 10 years was simply missing. Viewers replayed that morning's broadcast, searching for signs. Her voice had been calm, her timing impeccable. No hint of farewell, no clue of what was to come. But behind that professional poise, something had clearly shifted. ESPN's official response only fueled the fire. The network's president of content, Burke Magnus, released a tidy corporate statement full of glowing praise but short on answers. He called Molly the heartbeat of First Take, credited her for a decade of success, and thanked her for her years at ESPN since 2006. But the tone, smooth, sterile, and emotionless, left fans feeling uneasy. It sounded like the kind of statement you write when you're trying to hide a storm behind the curtain. No reason was given for her sudden departure. No acknowledgement of tension. Just the kind of polished PR talk that always raises more questions than it answers. Then Stephen A. broke his silence on air. His words, while respectful, carried that same air of quiet tension. He admitted there had been ongoing contract negotiations between Molly and ESPN. He said the network didn't want to lose her, but that she made the decision to walk away effective immediately. For a man as seasoned in media politics as Stephen A., that phrasing meant everything. This wasn't a mutual decision. This was a break, sudden, sharp, and emotional. As he spoke, his delivery betrayed a subtle frustration. He said he'd leaned on Molly for years, that she'd been his partner, his friend, his balance. But then came the sentence that made everyone pause. That's her story to tell. That's when fans knew. Something bigger had gone down. Behind the polite words and warm memories, it became clear this was about more than just a career pivot. Whispers started to spread. Contract disputes, pay inequity, personal conflict. Former ESPN host Marcellus Wiley later claimed on his show that Molly felt undervalued and underpaid despite being essential to First Take's success. While Stephen A. reportedly earns more than $10 million annually, Molly's salary hovered between $1 and $1.5 million, a fraction of what many believe she deserved. And when negotiations got tense, insiders said she expected Stephen to use his immense influence to back her. When he didn't, that may have been the final straw. For years, Molly had played the role perfectly, the calm in the storm, the voice of reason between explosive personalities. When she joined First Take in 2015, stepping in after Carrie Champion's exit, she walked straight into the eye of the hurricane, moderating debates between Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless. It was a job few could survive, but Molly thrived. She brought structure, intelligence, and composure to a show built on chaos. When Skip left for FS1 a year later, it was Molly who kept First Take from collapsing. Her timing, poise, and subtle wit transformed the show into ESPN's crown jewel. Viewership soared, and her chemistry with Stephen A. became legendary. Together, they built a rhythm that no other sports talk show could match. But over time, the balance began to tilt. Stephen's star rose higher and higher, while Molly's role remained steady but uncelebrated. Behind the bright smiles and playful on-air banter, small cracks started to show. Fans caught glimpses of tension, an eye roll here, a clipped response there. And when Stephen A.'s massive contract extension was announced in 2025, the contrast became glaring. She was the glue, but he got the gold. When Molly's exit finally hit, the timing didn't make sense. Her contract wasn't up yet, and ESPN had plans to keep her through 2025. Then, out of nowhere, the plan changed. Insiders later revealed that she'd accelerated her departure, voluntarily or not, after final talks fell apart. The next morning, First Take looked and felt completely different. Stephen A. sat at the desk alone, visibly unsettled. The air in the studio was thick, the energy off. The man who could debate anyone into silence looked like he'd lost his rhythm. Rumors spread fast. Some said she'd already been in talks with Fox Sports, which was reportedly offering her nearly double her salary and a leading role. Others whispered about offers from Amazon or Netflix, companies eager to expand their live sports coverage. If true, that meant Molly wasn't just leaving ESPN, she was leveling up. Walking away from the network she helped build wasn't just emotional, it was strategic. As ESPN scrambled to recover, the cracks behind the scenes widened. Burke Magnus announced a 30 to 45-day audition process for a new moderator, but insiders described it as controlled chaos. Stephen A. reportedly had input on who would sit beside him, and when Joy Taylor's name surfaced as a potential replacement, his alleged reaction made headlines. "Hell no," he was said to have told producers, not wanting anyone who might challenge his control of the show. Whether he meant chemistry or authority, the comment sparked another debate, one about power. Did Stephen A. have too much of it? In the weeks following Molly's departure, ESPN's ratings reportedly dipped. Fans tuned in out of curiosity but quickly noticed the absence. The laughter felt thinner. The transitions were rougher. Guest hosts came and went, but no one could quite replicate the chemistry that had made the show work. The balance was gone. And that's when people started realizing what Molly Qerim had really brought to First Take. Her exit wasn't just another career shift. It was a mirror reflecting how the industry treats its quiet anchors, the ones who hold the spotlight steady but rarely get credit for its glow. She had been the heartbeat of the show, the reason it ran smoothly, the reason Stephen A.'s fire didn't burn the whole studio down. Without her, that equilibrium vanished. So now, fans are left asking, was Molly's exit a power move, the bold decision of a woman finally demanding her worth, or was it a silent protest against a system that pushed her aside? The truth, as always, lies somewhere in between. But one thing's certain, First Take will never be quite the same again. And that brings us to you. What do you think really happened behind the scenes? Was this a clean break or a quiet rebellion? Did Molly walk away to claim her power? Or was she forced out by one? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're as hooked on these behind-the-scenes revelations as we are, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Because trust me, this story, it's far from over.